It's Wednesday, and welcome to the Contrarians. Tonight is the Wednesday live chat. The topic, stripes, dots, and checkerboards, our favorite pattern album covers. Panel's here, and we're ready to go. We want to hear from you in the chat. So without any further ado, let's get this episode started. Hey, it's Wednesday and it's the Contrarian Live Chat. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. This is going to be a great discussion. Everybody in the chat, we want to hear from you. So like you know how we do it. We'll just keep it moving. We're going to hear from the panel. The topic tonight, stripes, dots, and checkerboards, our favorite patterned album covers. So this is going to be good. And I want to welcome Todd Evans here tonight, Jamie Laszlo, and of course, Martin and I. And, you know, we're going to keep it loose, have a nice discussion. Really looking forward to hearing from everybody out there. So I'm going to start off with, I'm just going to go the way I see it. Let's go Todd Evans, Jamie Laszlo, Martin, and then myself. And we'll do two at a time. Martin will keep track of the peanut gallery, and we will keep it moving. So welcome, everybody. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
All right. All right, Todd, you're up.
Okay, so my first pair, they kind of go together because they both got diagonal lines, even going in the same direction. The first one is Steven Wilson's 2016 EP 4.5.
Sweet.
And it's pretty cool. It's die cut, so you can pull it out there, and then there's a whole picture like that. Of course, I say EP, it's a Prague EP, so it's almost an album. I think it's 30-something minutes long. And then kind of going with that is U2's 2004 How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, in my opinion, one of their better records. And the patterns go on in the back and on the inside, and then the CD is a little swirl. So that's kind of neat. And those are my first
we
pair.
did that. Excellent. We did that show on Ryan Gavalier's channel, and I think the general consensus on this record was, I think the panel pretty much really thought a lot about this record. So good.
Is that the one that was in everybody's iPhone when you buy an iPhone and your refrigerator and everything?
It is not.
Okay.
What was that, Todd?
2 albums back. That's Songs of Innocence.
There you go. Excellent choices. All right, Jamie Laszlo, let's throw it over to you.
All right, I'm going to start off with Stripes, and you might as well just get this out of the way. The Stars and Stripes. So I'm going to go with Volunteers by Jefferson Airplane. There you go.
Nice.
Big flag. Something tells me with the controversy around this album back in 1969 that that's a little sarcastic. I don't know the way the hat he's wearing and everything, but I don't know.
It's still a great record, though.
But it came with a fake newspaper. And then I'm going to go with another one with the Stars and Stripes. You may remember the commercial in 1987. I would get home from school and I would turn on the TV and watch like reruns of, I don't know what I was watching, like Cheers reruns maybe. And like at 4:00 in the afternoon, and you'd hear commercial break, and then you hear Layla. And then you get two hippies and they stare at one another and you go, "Hey, is that Freedom Rock? Well, turn it up, man." I mean, it's an iconic commercial. It hasn't been ran in over 30 years and people still remember it. I bought the CD like when off the commercial in 1987. It took like 3 months to get to my house. I bought this at a used record shop here in Columbus, and they have a sense of humor because they put a sticker on there that says, "As seen on TV," even though it was like 30 some years later.
And I was actually able to find the album cover, which is amazing.
Some of them go, everything's there on Discogs.
I watched that commercial today on YouTube, and I forgot all about they're reminiscing about things that they used to like to do when they listen to this music. And the one guy goes, "Going to jail." And I just thought that was hilarious.
Oh, good Lord.
Nice.
All right. Martin, you're up.
Yeah, just wanted to mention here, we've got mentions from Mike's Got the Spins for Pink Floyd, The Wall, and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Float Along Fill Your Lungs. We've got Dwight Twilley, Love, Love Revisited, Todd Rundgren's Utopia, self-titled. So yeah, they're coming in. Triumph Just a Game. So my first one, as you can tell, this show has always been, and it remains a show where it just gives us an excuse to talk about a chaotic grab bag of albums that we like, kind of thing. So in that spirit, I'm starting with Stripes as well, and I've got Derringer. If I Weren't So Romantic, I'd Shoot You. Love this album to death. This was the third Derringer album. But the lineup is changing, but it's so poppy and interesting and cool. This is just such a great album. Followed it up with Guitars and Women, but before this, Sweet Evil. But yeah, so we got that. And then going along with that, these aren't my other picks, but just to keep that bullseye pattern going, we got Queen Jazz. We got the Bzzz, who used to be the Boys. So we got the back of the B there. The Boys is more of it's kind of like a biker album cover. It's really cool. And then Tyranny and Mutation, Blue Oyster Cult. So you put all these together, and you've got a whole heck of a lot of bullseyes. And my second choice is...
I think you just hypnotized me.
I know. No I'm in a trance.
Yeah. My next one's a little creative. It's, we always got to mention Typo Negative on this show. Don't know why, but I went with Typo Negative, October Rust. So there we've got stripes made up of rose thorns. So that's kind of a cool one. We got one stripe on the back, but yeah, good old Typo Negative. Met those guys a few times, including Pete. He was always super nice. But yeah, sadly we lost Pete a little while ago, but yeah, very cool band. So there's another one for stripes. So that's my first two choices.
All right, cool. All right. Well, my first choice, I'm not as organized as these gentlemen are. I just kind of picked stuff and just went with it. So my first choice, I'm going to go with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Okay. And all the little images are like, if you watch A Hard Day's Night, they're just like little snippets that were shot in the film and they just used them. So, it's kind of nice. It's kind of pleasing. The US cover, the album that came out on United Artists, I kind of like the layout of it better, but they only use 4 squares of each, like the top of the heads. It's much more artistic than the European cover, but that's okay. We're going with the UK cover for right now. And then my second choice, I'm going to go with the Beach Boys' Love You from 1977. And that's a Dean Torrance cover when he used to do graphic design. So the whole cover, it's too small to see, but they're all made up of little individual squares. So it's a very cool cover. I mean, if you're a Beach Boys fan, you know this cover. But yeah, go out and check it out and actually blow it up, and you'll go, oh, that's actually kind of nice. This was also the album that they marketed as Brian Wilson's comeback. Of course, Brian's voice was all blown out. He's not the same Brian Wilson, but, hey, it sold records. But that's my second choice.
Nice. Just want to put in a mention here. Steve Polari's mentioned Space Oddity, Bowie. Minty Fresh has mentioned Talking Heads, more songs about buildings and food. The other one there is Fear of Music, right? With the patterned. Yeah, and that's actually blind embossed or embossed. I'm not sure.
It's embossed.
It's definitely embossed.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got Joy Division, Unknown Pleasure, says Steve Polari. That's also patterned. And when we came up with this title, we wanted to keep it a little open, so that's why we got the subtitle in there. So anything patterned is up for grabs here as well. So anyway, Todd, your pick. Take it away.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with this pair is Checkerboard, and it's really more of a grid, but this is REM's 1998 album Up. Turn around the back, you got the band there and the checkerboard, and the inside, the whole thing is themed like that. And then another one that's got a grid on it of little squares is the first of 3 albums by Morris Portnoy George. These are cover albums by Neil Morris, Mike Portnoy, and Randy George, who's the bass player of the Neil Morris Band. And this one also kind of, it's got that little grid up there, and then there's cover 2 cover that's also got that. It's a little harder to see. And then these were reissued in a set when they did the third one, and they did this more artistic, proggy looking cover like this. And nice. If anybody ever, this album, if anybody doesn't know, covers by U2, Badfinger, Paul McCartney, Styx, Chicago, Squeeze, And if anybody ever says that they think that Mike Portnoy overplays, just wave this little box around because he plays perfectly for all those kinds of bands. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Jamie, take it away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go way back to 1966, and this album looks like it's from 1966, and that is Face to Face, the Kinks.
Okay.
You got the butterflies, and you can tell it's the 60s because nothing's really centered. You know, back then they just kind of made sure the album cover existed, but very 60s, and you got the dots and the butterflies. That's my original mono, and then you got the deluxe CD with all the extra CD stuff. And then I'm going to go with dots again, back to 2009. Can't believe it's been that long. With Phish, Joy. Weird album cover, very dark, and it's called Joy. But it's really cool because you got a lot of dots coming at you like from the universe, and some of them are eyeballs. And the eyeballs are shinier than the star dots, and it kind of makes them look three-dimensional. And then if you look at the CD, which I probably should have pulled out earlier, it's got all the dots on the CD too.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. Cool.
Excellent.
All
we
right.
had a dog situation, but everything's been taken care of. Everybody,
That's cool.
No one's hurt.
I keep waiting to have one.
Yeah, it could happen at any moment.
We've got to mention here D-Rocker for Thunder Behind Closed Doors, Grand Funk Railroad Caught in the Act. Yeah, that's a bunch of little pictures of the band, isn't it? Steve Polari's mentioned PIL9, Viagra Boys Cave World. We've got Sly and Family Stone. There's a riot going on. The Vans, Shoes from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah. All right. So my next couple of picks. My first one is ZZ Top Antenna. Love this album. First of the RCA years, I believe. Yeah, it is. Really, really cool album. Very high tech sort of sound on here, but Billy's absolutely being Billy on here. Yeah, pin cushions on here, antenna head. Amazing, cool, heavy song of theirs off this PCH. But yeah, you've got stripes, you've got grids, you got lines all over the place. Everything on this, you got dots as well, is all made out of patterns. And my second choice is Loudness Thunder in the East. So there you go. There's, the Land of the Rising Sun. Boy, I could have pulled a ton of new wave of British heavy metal albums if I still own them all. All your Tokyo Blade albums. We could have probably made a show just with the Japanese flag. Well, actually, this is more than the flag, right? Because the flag's much simpler. But yeah, you see them wearing that as well on the back. But yeah, Tokyo Blade. I mean, this was like a fashion statement wearing these shirts in the new wave of British heavy metal. So you saw it all the time. But there you go. Loudness, great album, kind of an Accept-like album. This was the big play in America where they had the big American record deal and stuff, and beautifully recorded, really cool. Who produced this thing anyway? This is produced by someone. Yeah, Max Norman did this. That's right. So there you go. That's my second pick, Loudness.
Awesome. And you have to admit, that looks great on a t-shirt. You do have to admit.
Absolutely.
So, all right. My next choice is that Martin kind of already touched on this, but Queen Jazz from 1978. We've got that, and Jamie's going to be hypnotized from this. But yeah, great cover. I think Todd mentioned it before. There was a show we did. He brought up Queen Jazz and how great the layout is and the cover concept. It's a great album cover. So that fits. The other one I'm going to bring up is the Knack Zoom from 1998.
Wow.
So we've got a lot of Checkerboard. This is where they regroup. This has got Terry Bozzio playing drums on it. This is the tour that I saw them play on and stood right in front of Terry Bozzio, and only 20 people are in the audience.
Wow.
Freaking great. Great record. Right back to power pop traditional. This would be the perfect follow-up to Get the Knack. Get yours today. But anyway, great album cover. They eventually redid the album cover and added some bonus tracks, but this is the original cover. So
very cool.
That's my pick.
We got to mention for the Who, Tommy. Yep, good one. Alan Parsons, The Time Machine, says BM Bolt. Louis Bigan Dumais says yes, going for the one. Gary Joyce has brought up Police Synchronicity. Yeah, that's an interesting one with a pattern, and then you get various different album covers for that with the colors and the photos. Or no, the photos at least, all in different places, right? Really cool. Van Halen, Diver Down. Yeah, I thought of doing that one. Head East, Flat as a Pancake, I think has a lot of Checkerboard on it, I believe, right?
Yep.
Nazareth Loud and Proud. Let's see what else we got. Kinks, Kingdom for Dogs, Buzzcocks, a different kind of tension. Yeah, Buzzcocks are all kind of pretty interestingly patterned, for sure. So, anyways, Todd, take it away.
Okay, so yeah, Grant, I think I mentioned that when we were talking about Queen and that other show that I thought that jazz was their high watermark for sleeve design, and it kind of goes downhill from there. But
well, they never achieved that greatness
that's one of my
after. So
yeah, it's one of my favorite covers of all time.
Innuendo's a cool cover.
It is. That is a good cover. You are correct. I'm going to go with Devo for some more squares and patterns here with Duty Now for the Future, all the little barcodes. And barcodes, I think, are a relatively new thing in 1979. And they're even on the disc there and behind the disc. And so, yeah, always been one of my favorite album covers and one of my favorite albums, too. And then this has been mentioned before because, of course, More Songs About Buildings and Food by the Talking Heads, 1978. It's got made up of a whole bunch of little Polaroid pictures, and I think it's
what a great concept.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
I love that cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, were those UPCs the actual UPC used?
That is a really good question. Are they all the same? Let me see. 43672. Yes, they are.
Okay.
On the CD, they are. I'll have to look at a vinyl copy and see if they match, or if there's even a barcode on the vinyl. And
no, there's barcodes on the. Yeah, there's barcodes on it.
So that's really cool.
All
I just
right,
noticed
cool.
it just now. Thanks, Jamie.
Wow.
Sometimes you need a fresh brain just to come in and ask some questions.
Yeah. Jamie, you're up. What's next?
All right, I'm going with Zebra, which is really cool because you got stripes and you got the checkerboards. They turned the knight into a zebra. And strange band. Never knew how to categorize them. Are they metal, hard rock? Are they even hair metal? I don't know.
You know, the only thing you can't unsee about that band is the falsetto, right? That's what they are. They're falsetto rock.
They still tour. He can't hit those notes these days in 2023. No
well,
way.
Martin, I'm going to throw it. Martin, what would you classify Zebra as?
Yeah, I would say pump rock is about the closest.
Okay.
Pump rock.
Yeah. Okay.
There, I'll go with that.
I'm going to go back to just last year, 2022, with Guild of Others, and also a chessboard. Now, I had to mention this because Mike Wallace, the drummer, is on he's a Facebook friend, and he's on my Let's Get Physical page on Facebook. That's all about physical media. A famous, it's only 7:18, we got time. A famous rock critic said about this album last year, Guild of Others accomplished the near impossible, and that's make progressive metal that is accessible. This sounds like Thinking Man's Stadium Rock. Does this sound familiar to anyone? In a plethora of old and new school styles, these hooky compositions keep the proceedings earthy and built for the stage. There's no reason why Guild of Others can't serve large pockets of fans. That is words by Martin Popoff.
No way.
It sounds very much like this that resulted in notoriety of Rush and even Styx for that matter.
Jamie, I don't think I wrote that.
Well, they're liars. Tom Wallace.
Wow.
You put that. They said that you said it.
Last year?
Wow. Quite an endorsement. They said.
These live shows, you never know what's going to happen.
Rock author, critic Martin Popoff. High praise from someone steeped in musical knowledge and history.
Okay. All right.
There you go, kids.
We don't remember.
You know, that sounds more. I haven't written very many reviews lately, and that sounds like more than when I'm like writing something for someone just like on Facebook or I'm emailing them back. So
Thinking Man's Stadium Rock sounds like something you'd say.
Man, Stadium.
Don't you think?
Maybe. Okay. I don't remember. I really don't remember this. So okay.
Listen to the album real quick after the.
There you go. Well, okay.
You know, because I physically don't own that album, so.
Well, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to tag Tom Wallace on this video.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been. Oh, Tom. Oh, okay. So this is Tom,
drummer.
Yes, and photographer.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
when
Is it all coming together?
Not particularly. No, it's not.
Yeah.
2022.
All right,
So
everybody.
it's like last year. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2022. Early last year.
All right.
You might
All
have
right.
heard it in 21 because they were holding on to it for a while. And
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
All right.
all right. Well, you're
okay,
up anyway,
so
Martin.
Let's see. What do we have here? We got Jay Giles band Freeze Frame. We've got Zebra is underrated. I was actually walking around listening to Zebra the other day, believe it or not.
I don't have any
that
Zebra.
third album, the first album actually. Saw Zebra open for ZZ Top, Fools Out of the Cars Panorama, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Bold as Love, Rolling Stones Live at the Checkerboard Lounge, Peter Hamill Fool's Game, Ronnie Montrose Open Fire. Yeah, a lot of patterning going on there. And Mott the Hoople Brain Capers. All right, so I'm up. I'm going with Fastway because somebody had to pick Fastway, and I figured I may as well just go do it. So there you go. The debut album. Love this record to death. I think it's a 10 out of 10. There's the guys on the back. Fast Eddie, rest in peace, Jerry Shirley, Dave King, on to the Flogging Molly. But yeah, they had this. It carried through their other things as well. Here's a We Become One. 12-inch. So they've got the checkerboard pattern, around this as well, and the other albums. And my other one is Roger Waters' Radio Chaos. So this is, the whole Morse code thing. I guess that's Morse code. I didn't really research it. But yeah, love this album. It's not my favorite. Amused to Death's my second favorite. And then Is This the Life We Really Want? I play that album to death. This is a good album as well. So there you go. Another patterned one there. So, all right. Grant, you're up.
All right. Yeah, that album sounds very 80s though. That's my
that is the most 80s sounding one, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, all right. Well, someone mentioned this already, but we're going to mention it again. The Cars Panorama. So we got this kind of is going with the knack checkerboard thing. But yeah, great record, 1980. We just did that on the Contrarians as a dark horse. So check the link below so you too can be up to date on what we thought of Cars Panorama. My number 6. Then I was thinking of putting this in here because they call this the Shapes cover. I guess it's a pattern. I don't know. I'm going to throw it in here anyway. I think this counts.
It's a random pattern.
It's a random pattern of different geometric shapes. Yeah. So yeah, this is my favorite Genesis record, 1983's Genesis.
It was that old toy. You had the sphere and you had to put the things in the sphere when you're like.
Yeah, I can't remember. We talked about this on a Genesis show, but it was either the engineer or the producer of I don't know. Someone took a picture. His child had all this on the floor. And he just took a picture of it and they used it. But that's, I don't know. Is it a great cover? I don't know, but it counts. So that's my number 6.
I always hated that cover, man. I hate the way the text is.
I don't like the text.
Really, really old, and yet the rest is kind of modern. It's just, and it's the same color. I never liked that cover.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still sold a lot.
Let me just jump in here quickly. Yeah. We got Obsession by UFO. I guess it's kind of patterny. The specials. Yeah, I took this out because we were threatened that you better have a bunch of two-tone in here. So I pulled out one CD that's got a little bit of that going on. So yeah, the whole two-tone thing was all this checkerboard stuff, your Madness and Specials and English Beat, all that kind of thing, right? It was an aesthetic that they used. So I made sure I brought one of those out. We got Bluish Cult self-titled. Yeah, that's pretty patterned as well. Smith's Meat is Murder. Can't picture how that's patterned. Goo Goo Dolls, Hold Me Up. Well, Diamond Dave DLR Band. Can't picture quite. Oh yeah, Split Ends, True Colors. That's the one. Remember the laser etching on the vinyl? That was so cool.
I've got that, and I've also got the 45 of the single. It's got laser etching on the 45.
Yeah. Anybody remember what were the other laser etching ones?
Sticks,
Paradise Theater.
Paradise. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
There were only those.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the Stick singles were etched, were they?
I don't think the 45s were, no.
No, just the Split Ends one.
No. I have a Superman soundtrack with the S.
Oh, yeah. I had that too. Yeah.
Was okay.
All right.
Who's Superman 2, right. I think.
Todd.
Okay. I am going with Back to Lines and gonna start with OMD 2010, their first album, History of Modern, after they took a really long break. and the inside of it also has some diagonal lines there. And then I'm going to segue into the 2017 album, The Punishment of Luxury, which is all kinds of lines going in all kinds of directions. And
Wow.
the inside, more lines. And the funny thing about this is that these two records, actually, the History of Modern, I don't have a physical copy of the one that comes between these two records, but it's English Electric, which also is designed kind of like that. And History of Modern and English Electric were designed by Peter Saville Studios, which is something that OMD has gone to for quite a few of their designs. And then The Punishment of Luxury was done by a different artist, John Petch, a Liverpool artist. But yeah, lots of kind of similar looking covers, not similar in a bad way, though. Really cool consistency.
How are those later OMD albums? I've not heard those.
Very, very good. Yes, very, very
I
good.
have to check them out. All right, cool. Excellent.
Cool.
All right, Jamie, you're up.
All right, I'm going with two alternative rock bands for my next pairing. One that's still active, Silver Sun Pickups with Swoon. And you got your dots there. This is probably their best album. I think it's their third album, if I'm not mistaken. Second or third.
I think it's
Very good. They sound a lot like Smashing Pumpkins. And it makes me wonder if when they chose their band name, Smashing Pumpkins, Silver Sun Pickups, they were trying to get something close. I don't know. And then I'm going to go back to the 90s. I think this is like early 90s, maybe mid 90s. Porno for Pyros. And there you go with the checkerboards right there on the spaceship. You got to look for it for a second. Very 90s looking. I remember being in the 90s going, people were having 70s parties and 80s parties. What are people going to say? What's going to be the thing that makes people say that looks very 90s? Well, there's your answer, 1996.
I don't know, Jamie,
like
but
that.
I know we'll make great pets. I do know that.
We'll make great pets.
I do love that song, though. I never get tired of it. I love it. I don't know. All right.
D Rocker has mentioned Nectar Evolution. We've got Pet Shop Boys. Let's see. We've got Cheap Trick, the 10-inch EP found new parts, all new parts. COC America's Volume Dealer. Yeah, remember that one. Marillion Brief Encounter. We've got Muse the Resistance. Elvis Costello. My Aim Is True. That's a good choice as well. Michael Stanley Band, 4th and 10. Michael Stanley Band, the guy that you always say when you say Midwest rock, right?
Right.
All right. So my next choice, two of my favorite albums. I love both these records, and they're really cool patterned records. I'm going to go with Vibrators V2 to begin with. I even drew, one of their ads, reproduced one of their ads in pencil. I love this album cover so much. So it's absolutely full of pattern. Of all sort, got arrows and blocks, and the back is kind of the same thing. So this is the Vibrator second album after Pure Mania. It's really nicely produced. It's quite varied. It's 1978, I believe, 79, maybe even? 78. Yeah, really cool album. It's got some heavy stuff and some poppy stuff and some experimental stuff. After this, they kind of went downhill. They're a little bit like UK Subs, where they started putting out so many albums and the lineups changed a lot and the recordings weren't great. And they became kind of this raw, punky sort of band kind of after this. But I loved Pure Mania, and this one's even better. This one's more like a serious masterwork sort of album. So patterns all over that one. And in the same wheelhouse, The Damned, Music for Pleasure. This is a great Barney Bubbles cover. So all sorts of patterning going on all over the place on this record. And then, this is cool where Barney has, sadly, we lost him. He had a lot of mental health problems. He was known for doing Ian Dury and Elvis Costello, but mainly Hawkwind. And this was a great, amazing cover. So that's kind of their faces in abstract art form. And then on the back, you got more stripes and stuff, and you get these superimposed, double exposure photos of the band. And more stripes and things. But yeah, amazing record, produced by Nick Mason, right? This is the famous, we asked for Syd Barrett, but they gave us Nick Mason instead. And so, yeah, it was a weird match, but it's a well-recorded album. A lot of people put it down at the time. I think it's a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite Damned albums because it's heavy and punky and stuff. It's just better recorded and better played. But yeah, an absolute masterpiece. And rest in peace, Barney Bubbles. There you go.
You know what that cover reminds me of?
Hmm.
Joe Jackson, Beat Crazy.
Oh,
And that came out in
okay.
1980, but I mean, they don't look the same, but it's the same idea.
Yeah.
Very similar. I wonder if whoever designed that Joe Jackson cover were influenced by this. Could have been. You never know. All right. Oh, it's me. For God's sakes. Here I am just yapping away. All right. We did Genesis. I'm gonna go with Blondie, Eat to the Beat. I could have went with Parallel Lines. I think Todd was thinking about doing that, but I thought, well, let's go with Eat to the Beat. We've got that square pattern up at the top, pink lettering. I like the Blondie logo here. I like the whole layout of this album, and this is probably the last great Blondie album, I would say. But yeah, great record. I love the artwork on it. Next one I'm going to go with The Who, Tommy from 1969. No doubt that this is a classic album. I just find it amazing that they pump so much money into this, because this is like a triple, what do you call a record that folds out like
triple gatefold?
I guess a triple gatefold. You don't think about it. The Who at this time weren't making any money, but man, they pump money into this record. What a beautiful design. Just beautiful design. I'll leave it at that. But great record as well. But that's my number 8.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Robin 73 has brought up again Talking Heads' Fear of Music. That's a great pattern cover. Journey Frontiers. Louis Began Dumais says Billy Cobham Spectrum. Dan Durbridge has mentioned Ian Jury Do It Yourself, which is probably a Billy or a Barney Bubbles. Horse Lips, The Man Who Built America. We've got Tarkus mentioned. Husker Du, Everything Falls Apart. Says Steve Poleri, Vibrators Killer Band. Yeah, thanks, Dan. I totally agree. Little River Band, The Net, says D Rocker. Yeah, all right.
Whole bunch of great choices. Holy mackerel.
And I think Todd's up.
Todd, you're up.
Okay, I wanted to say to Steve Poleri, I can't believe I didn't pick Elvis Costello, My Aim Is True. I must have just skipped right by it when I was looking for stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to go back to checkerboards or squares or a grid to Psychedelic Furs Mirror Moves from 1984. It's supposed to look like it's in a mirror, reflected in a mirror ball there. And one of my favorite covers, one of my favorite albums of that era.
It's a good record.
And then for my last one, I'm going to go with some more squares. This is Bruce Sword. He's the front man from The Pineapple Thief. And this is one of his acoustic flavored solo albums. This one's from 2019. And this was kind of a backup pick. I really wanted to pick Pet Shop Boys Very, but I didn't have a physical copy of the CD, and a picture of it doesn't do it justice. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen
because it's actually 3D.
It's 3D. It's orange plastic, and I thought I had a physical copy of it, but I don't. And it just reminds me I have to go get one. Fantastic album, and one of the best CD packages of all time.
This record kind of harks back to the Beatles' Hard Day's Night kind of thing, kind of. But these images are these. I can't tell from the cover, but okay, they're different images of the same.
Yeah, they're different images.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and they're blurry, and he's like turning his head in all of them. It's pretty cool.
It's a good cover.
Great
I like
cover.
that.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, you're up.
All right, I'm going with Aerosmith Live Bootleg. And I like the whole concept of this album. It kind of sounds like a bootleg. Some of the songs sound crappy. You hear the hiss of the tape. I think they used like an actual cassette player to record some of the songs. You look in the back, you got coffee stains from coffee mugs. And I could imagine somebody in 1978 finding this in a record store thinking they found a bootleg, maybe for a half a second.
For half a second, but they did a good job though.
Yes, they did a good job.
And there's no overdubs on that record either.
No. I love it. It's actually the first Aerosmith album I ever bought. And then you got the poster that came with it.
They don't give you that in the CD. I feel ripped off.
No, you don't get that on CD or streaming.
No.
Then I was thinking, are there any artists that have like Dot in the name? No. Checker? You got Chubby Checker. I don't own any Chubby Checker. But you have the White Stripes. Nice. So It's right in the name, right? And this
Yeah.
is De Style. I'm going to go with De Style. Very bare bones album, but I like how they always had the red, the black, and the white as they went along with all their album covers, keeping it kind of, unified, which is really cool. And Meg White kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth, which is really weird.
Yeah, she just got married, and that was the end of her.
I Googled her today just to see what she was up to, and it said the band broke up and she is no longer active. The end.
Well,
Interesting.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Martin.
Okay, my last choices are the Clash Cut the Crap with the corrugated tin sort of look of stripes, which goes right through everything. So yeah, I suppose it looks like that's a poster that's kind of put onto the tin, and it's got the same wavy pattern.
That's the album you hate, though, right?
Yeah, you know what? Everybody, this is one of the most notorious hated albums of all time. But man, I listen to this album. I actually like it about as much as Combat Rock. And this is one where I would really love to hear somebody wipe off all the music tracks, keep Joe's vocals, keep the songs. The songs are actually pretty good, and put a real rockin' band on here. I would like to see like hear an AI version of this, sounding a lot more punk rock and clashy. You can actually go on YouTube and hear a whole demo versions of this and live, which means it was a real band, but it's not the same. It really doesn't sound that good. But I listen to this record and I envision a great Clash album hiding in here. But they did a lot of the whole putting all these noise effects and electronic sounds and radio samples all over it. Kind of that started with Combat Rock, but it was all over this as well. So I really don't mind this album at all. I think it's kind of cool. And I really like that band shot. I think that's a really cool band shot of the guys there.
I think it's better than London Calling.
Yeah. You mean as an album?
Yeah.
Or what?
Davey, I'm not a big fan of London Calling, though.
Yeah,
so
we won't go there. We won't go there.
Davey,
my last choice is a bit of a cheat because it's not actually an album, but the XTC 3D EP.
Yeah.
So there you've got them in 3D there, but that's definitely a pattern dot sort of thing. And then since I was in the XTC section, I thought I'd pull out the Great Fire single as well. So that's pretty cool. And then to keep the patterns going, we've got the Five Senses EP. So there you've got patterns all over. Bit of like Genesis kind of look, or a Gamma Ray 3 or Gamma Ray 3 look to it as well, right? So there's patterns as well for good old XTC. I love that they did these 12-inch EPs all the time and singles and stuff. Their singles are amazing too. The designs of the XTC picture sleeve singles are so cool. Really, really cool. I love that band to death. So that's my last choice.
I can't remember, but did the 3D EP come with a pair of 3D glasses?
Yeah, because
I swear they did.
Not sure.
It should have.
They didn't really 3D it. On
the back of it is, though.
The back is totally that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
If someone
before we move on to Grant, let's see what else we got here. We got Budgie Power Supply, lots of round spotlights. Yeah, it's not really a pattern cover, I suppose, but Cabaret Voltaire Red Mecca. I also think Cut the Crap is oddly interesting. Good old David Bottas there has been on a lot of panels. Ghost in the Machine, yeah, that's patterned, right? Blue Saraceno Plaid, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Sugar, Sex Magic, let's see, Alter Bridge, The Last Hero, Sherb's the Skill, says D-Rocker. Oh, the Parish is with us. Good old Parish with the Alter Bridge Last Hero suggestions. So all right, Grant, you're up.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Switching. Okay, here we go. Well, I mentioned the Who the last time. I seem to be choosing a lot of Checkerboard, but Jamie, I found dots. Todd Rundgren's shirt. He's got dots, and Chasm Sultan's got Checkerboard. So it's kind of a new wavy record. Well, this is
dot the eye.
Pop. This is a power pop record. Great record. I love this record. My favorite Utopia album. Well, it's right up there with Adventures. Love that too, but I do love this record. Saw him on the tour, sat right in front of Todd. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Nice.
So that's my first one. Then I chose yet another Utopia album. the debut album from Todd Rundgren's Utopia in
right by me.
1974. And I'm not sure what the hell is going on in this cover, but we've got circles flying towards an eyeball. Maybe they're jelly beans. I don't know. Is it an LSD trip? Maybe. I'm not sure what it is. Could be. But it definitely has a pattern, and it's definitely weird. So
Crazy.
I will leave it at that. So that is
Wicked.
my final pick.
So we're all going to have migraine headaches after this now.
You might.
Or sleep like a baby. I don't know which one.
One of the two. One of the two.
All right,
All right.
Grant, wrap her up.
Well, I guess we did it. All right, gentlemen. I want to thank everybody in the comment section in the Peanut Gallery for chiming in. Always
Grant,
a good
don't
time.
wrap her up yet. Let me read off my honorable mentions.
Oh,
here.
shit. Okay.
Diamond Head
Take that
Canterbury.
back.
Yeah, Diamond Head Canterbury, Led Zeppelin, Twisted Sister Club Days, UFO Strangers in the Night, Alcatraz No Parole for Rock and Roll with the Prison Bars, Carol Brothers. Yeah, there's one you'll never see. Carol Brothers, long story about them. Quiet Riot, Striper. Nobody had any Striper today. That's pretty crazy. Kiss Hotter Than Hell. All around the edge, you've got the Striper.
And Spine of God
That's all I
by
know.
Monster Magnet.
Oh,
Wow. Monster Magnet. Look at you. Wow. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
We did a ranking on Sea of Tranquility about him.
Of Monster Magnet. I'll be damned. All right, good. Anybody, Todd, do you have any honorable mentions?
I wanted to mention. I got up a minute ago. I was looking for my
Go
copy,
ahead,
and I can't find it. But there's a prog band called Car Mechanic, and they have an album called Dot, and it's just one big red dot on the cover.
And that's it.
And I didn't think of that one either. Yeah.
but
there is
since
an
you bring
album
that
called
up, we
Dot.
should bring up the Bears Rise and Shine. Which has the theme cover.
Yeah, I
that
can-
too.
There we go, right there.
There you go.
Speaking of one big red dot,
Now, how did you have that handy?
Yeah.
Because I'm preparing my Power
the
Pop
Bears
show
thing, yes,
for Friday,
yes, right.
and I'm going to do a tribute. So
Yeah.
I've got all my
That album is
Bears.
a masterpiece.
Yes.
I love that record to death.
that's my favorite one out of all
Yeah.
of theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a sad day. And I should mention, in case, since we are live, I'm going to mention it. But Chris Ardusser from the Bears, the Psycho Dots, and the Raisins. It's a sad day in Ohio. He passed away today. It's a big loss. I don't know. He was such a brilliant musician, a great drummer. I don't know. I'm feeling it here in Ohio. It's a sad day. So
Yeah, I was sorry to hear that. Still active too.
yeah, he was doing another band, the Grave Blankets, but he's been, I don't know what he passed away from, but it's been quiet. I haven't heard anything. You know, Rob Fetters does those live streams on every week he does, and he plays, but I haven't seen Chris on there, but I don't know. It's sad. But
Actually got to see those guys, weirdly enough, when I first moved to Toronto. They played the Phoenix, the Bears. So this being 88, 89, it must have been that tour. It might even been the tour for the first album.
Yeah, I saw him in Athens, Georgia for the first album tour.
so I've never seen the Bears. I just saw the Psycho Dots many times in Cincinnati. And, you know, it's just them without Adrian Ballou. They're just as great. You know, God. Rob Fetters is a guitar player. Unbelievable. The whole band is just the songwriting. Check out those Psycho Dots CDs, kids.
Cool.
Great stuff. All right. I guess we did it. Anybody else? And we can wrap it up. We good?
Yep.
All right, everybody. Now I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody in the chat. It was a good time. Todd Evans, Jamie Laszlo, Martin, and myself, we want to thank you. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure what the topic is, but stay tuned and, well, we'll see you on Wednesday. All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Good night.
Talk to you later.